to start cooking at home, but you don't know where to start? How many times have you looked at your bank statement? Have you looked at the last week or two of spending on your banking app and saw that you're spending way too much money eating out and you really need to change that? Well, today, guys, we're going to talk about some ways that we can save money on eating out by meal prepping. Now, I have somebody who's come to me with a little bit of an issue. So before we get to that, I'd like you guys to put in the chat if you've come across that problem, if you've noticed that you're spending way too much money eating out, and if it's something that you want to change immediately because you know that you're not getting the value that you're putting out, meaning you're spending way too much money and all you're doing is getting satisfied for a couple hours. All right. Now, I wrote in, Melissa emailed me, coachmark22@gmail.com. Coach Mark with a C, 22@gmail.com. Melissa from Carbondale, Illinois wrote in that she's a 36-year-old single woman. And so she has had this up and down relationship with her nutrition, right? She does well one month she doesn't. But it normally turns into her eating out. She likes to try new places, try new dishes, go to have new experiences. So she finds herself spending way too much money eating out. Now, she knows that she should be meal prepping, right? She has watched countless videos, researched countless ways that she can cut down and lose fat by meal prepping. So she knows exactly what she's supposed to do. Her problem is lack of time management and or convenience. And this is her words, right? She says she goes to the grocery store. She plans on cooking on Sunday. She never gets around to it. Then says she's going to do it Monday night. Monday night turns into Tuesday night. Tuesday night turns into Wednesday I'm eating out, and F it, I might as well just wait till this weekend coming up. So she says she has the right intentions, but she doesn't follow through, and she doesn't follow through consistently enough for it to make a difference. So she's been struggling with her weight going up and down, and then because she's eating out a lot, she doesn't feel like going to the gym is worth it. She's like, why would I go to the gym if I'm just going to eat out? And a lot of times that includes French fries or fried foods or desserts of some sort, and she knows that that's going against the workout plan that she's involved with. So she's asking, how can she start meal prepping and efficiently, right? So that she doesn't have to put a whole bunch of time into it, so that she can start moving towards her fitness goals, because her eating out is not getting it done. And obviously she's spending a whole lot of money. And so she looked at her bank statement last month and she had spent $500 on eating out alone. Okay. So she really wants to change both of those aspects of her life, and we're going to help her get to that today. All right. So if you did not know, this is Lunchtime Logic. I am your guide, Coach Mark. This is Transformation Station. Now, on Lunchtime Logic, if you did not know, I eat lunch on Lunchtime Logic. A lot of you are on lunch as well. That's why I go live at 12 o'clock. I'm on the East Coast, so some of you might not have lunch yet, but you will, right? You might be watching this on lunch. So the reason why I like to eat on lunch is because a lot of you guys think that fitness influencers or health coaches or wellness coaches or yoga instructors never eat. You think that we eat like birds, right? That we have one meal a day and everybody fasts for the other 23 hours. That is not the case, okay? Most, and I mean 7 to 8 out of 10 fitness enthusiasts, wellness and health coaches, trainers, they eat multiple times a day. They just eat the right items. So I always like to tell you guys what I'm eating, so that you just have a general idea of plates you can put together. So in here I have one baked potato, one russet potato, right? I chopped it up into small cubes so that I can, consume it a little bit easier. And I have 7.5 ounces of rotisserie chicken. I get the rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, and I just cut it up, put it in a pan. That helps out. Actually, I don't do it. My partner does it, but either way, it ends up in the pan, right? And that helps us with our meal prep, right? And that kind of goes in line with what we're talking about today. So make sure you put your questions, your comments, or your opinions in the comment section. All right, that is what it's for. You're not just here to sit there on your hands. All right, let me know how you meal prep. Let me know if you've intended to meal prep and you haven't gotten to it yet. Let me know if any of this resonates with you as well. Now, Melissa from Carbondale, Illinois, I believe. She's 36 and she's single. Why is that important? Because, see, a lot of my viewers and subscribers, you guys are older right? You're 40, you're 50, you're 55. And a lot of you have kids. So when a single woman or a single person says that they have problem with finding the time to meal prep, a lot of you have the same reaction. Oh, if I didn't have kids, I'd have all the time in the world. Oh, how do they not have time when they don't have kids, Mark? She's 36 years old. What else is she doing? Well, let me just vouch for Melissa and say that at 36 years old, when you don't have children, you've never had children. So your lifestyle fits that of a person that doesn't have children. So you plan different events, you go to different type of trips, right? You schedule classes, or you may have overtime that you work, right? You sleep maybe longer on the weekends. You're in no rush to get up, right? There's no schedule. And then when you don't have children, guys, remember what we were before we had children. I know it's hard for some of you, because if you're like me, you've been a parent for over 2 decades. But before I had children, I didn't manage my time the same way I do now. Why would I? I didn't have anything to do. Get up and go to work and come home. And like nobody's depending on you. So if you lay in the bed all day on a Saturday because it's raining and you watch Lifetime movies, doesn't matter. Most of you watching can't do that now, including myself, right? So her lifestyle is different. And what will happen is time seems to fly by because she's probably used to not making great use of her free time, right? So because she has a lot of free time, she also agrees to go out to eat a lot, right? Because when you're single, you hang around other single people. And other single people like to gather. And they like to gather by going out to eat. And there's actually nothing wrong with that, guys. Going out to eat is not the problem. It's what we eat when we go out. And we don't know how the food is prepared as well, right? We don't know the oils and butters and margarines that they're using, perhaps, right? Seasonings. So that's the problem. But we need community. We need to be around other people, okay? Now, as she stated, she's spending way too much money eating out. So let's attack this a little bit. Because what we don't realize is that, again, when you don't have children, guys, you don't worry about what are you going to eat tomorrow. We worry about what we have to feed our families tomorrow. But if she lives by herself, she doesn't worry about what she's eating tomorrow. She'll get to that tomorrow. And that's understandable. And it's a habit that she's established over many, many years. She's never been a parent. Okay, so for 36 years, she didn't have to worry about having food in the refrigerator tomorrow. Making sure she doesn't run out of oranges. That's not her life, okay? So that's the problem number one, Melissa, is that a lot of times you're waiting literally until it's time to eat to figure out what you're going to eat. Literally. Because I know how this goes. If you ate out for lunch, that means, what's the chance that you're really going to want to go home and cook something for dinner? And even when you cook, Melissa, I would imagine, because you're cooking for one, you cook enough for that meal or maybe leftovers for the next day. Maybe. But a lot of times, that's not the case because, again, I'll just get something. And when you eat out a lot, guys, because we don't track and we don't measure when we eat out. We don't measure the ounces. We don't measure cups. Normally we don't track when we eat out. Our feeding schedule is off because you don't know how many calories. So yesterday for breakfast, you might have had 600 calories because that's what filled you up. The next morning you went out and had a bigger breakfast. It was 1,200 calories. So you skipped lunch. So what eating out does is it gives you this roller coaster effect of calorie intake. One day you're super high, one day you're super low, next day you're super high. So your next meal can't be scheduled as well because you don't know when you're going to be hungry. Your body cannot establish a rhythm. Cannot establish a rhythm because we have plans on eating a certain thing when we go to a restaurant until we get there. How many times you pulled up to the pizza place and you wanted to get a cheesesteak and they don't have cheesesteaks? So now you get a chicken cheesesteak or you get wings or you get pizza, right? That happens. So by eating out so much, Melissa, your body's not able to establish a rhythm. Okay? Protein intake, carb intake, fiber intake, it's all over the place every meal. And then you can't time your meals because you don't know when you're going to be hungry. Because again, most likely you eat when you're hungry. And that's okay. But you never know when you're going to be hungry or not. So then what happens is you have a super big breakfast, you skip lunch maybe. Now you're hungry at 2 o'clock. So when we make a split decision to eat something at 2 o'clock, I'm assuming you work first shift. That might be something out the vending machine. Just to hold you over until you're done working. So then what happens if you've had a long day on a Wednesday, you have nothing prepared, and you're super hungry because you haven't eaten a full meal since breakfast. And the little snack to hold you over, we know that a lot of that was empty calories, no nutrients involved, right? Nothing but a blood sugar spike. So now, instead of you patiently waiting until you get home to eat something that you've already prepared, you're now making a rash decision to eat out. And because you're hungry, you overeat. You overeat. And you're thinking, how can I overeat, Mark? I didn't have that much to eat all day. I had a big breakfast and I had, right. But because you're eating until you're full and you haven't had enough nutrients all day, you're overeating. Whereas had you eaten throughout the day, you wouldn't be so damaged, right? Now, because you overeat, now what are we getting to eat? Now we're super hungry, so now we're gonna get what tastes good. Doesn't matter if it's good for us. It's what tastes good. You waited all day to eat. You're gonna eat what tastes good. And normally we crave what our body's deficient in. So depending on if you had a heavy carb loaded diet, heavy carbohydrate filled breakfast, you're probably gonna crave some protein and fiber, right? Which is cool. But is that gonna come in the form of hot wings? Or a double cheeseburger, right? So a lot of things happen when we eat out. Now, as far as the cost is concerned, this is what's interesting. You talked about eating out, and you spent $500 extra just eating out. What's interesting about that is that isn't the only time you've spent money on food, because that does not include the times that you did go to the store and get a couple things and made a meal or two. You don't eat out for every meal. You just eat out for too many meals. So what happens is now you have the $500 plus the grocery bill. Plus the grocery bill. And guys, it's 2026. Going through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A costs you $15, $16. You do that 5 times in a week, that's $75 worth of groceries. Now, I know a lot of you would say that isn't that much, for groceries. It will absolutely give you enough items to cook more than 5 meals. You're going to get way more than 5 meals. So as far as the money is concerned, we're talking about tips. We're talking about overeating, over drinking. We're talking about desserts. We're talking about, this is what's crazy about that. How many times do you spend extra money after going out to eat? You drove to the place, you might have paid for parking. Your friends, after you guys were done eating, you sat there and had drinks. Or you guys went somewhere else for drinks. So how many times has that one meal turned into a $150 experience? And this is the kicker, guys. Melissa doesn't even like her food all the time when she goes to these places. Because we know, guys, your food's not always good. Sometimes it's just, eh. You ever ask somebody, oh, how was the food over there? And they're like, eh. Sometimes it's horrible. So if you go out to eat 5 times, guys, it's a good 3 of them that's just so-so. I'd say 1 out of 5 times I go out to eat, it's amazing. 1 out of 5 times. So you're spending way too much money. You're spending extra money because there are other activities that are attached to going to eat out, to eat out with your friends. Or just eating out by yourself, right? They got new specials. Oh, I'm gonna try these new drink specials they have. I'm gonna have a shot just because I had a long day. You know how it goes. A lot of expenses tied to that one experience, right? One thing I always tell my clients to do, add up the time from start to finish that it takes you to go either get food that you get from eating out or to go sit down and eat out. But let's just say we're sitting down and eat out for dinner. From the time it takes you to start getting ready. So we might be talking, let's just say it's 5 o'clock, you start getting ready. You leave the house at 5:30. It takes you a half an hour to get to wherever you're going. You have to wait when you get there to get seated. By the time people get there, you guys order. It's the busiest time of the evening. You eat. By the time you get home, 8 o'clock, 8:30. If you had chosen to eat at home, how long would it have taken you to prepare something? And could you have made a few other dishes for the days to come? Because now we're going to transition to the time that Melissa's having an issue with, okay? Melissa, one of the biggest mistakes I made when I was younger, like in my 20s, was I didn't manage my time well, right? When people say we all have the same 24 hours, they literally mean it is your choice whether or not you waste time or not. Everybody's not going to make $1 million a day, but you can absolutely make the most out of your time, okay? So you have to schedule things. When it comes to health and fitness, I think your schedule is just as important as your effort. You can't be all over the place. It can't be, oh, I'll go to the gym when I feel like it, because guess what? You hardly ever feel like it. It can't be, I'll meal prep if I have time, because guess what? Most of the time, you're not going to have time. It can't be, I'll track my food when I start having a little bit more time to track. That's never going to happen. You have to make the time. So when it just comes to meal prepping, Sundays are a great day to meal prep, but it doesn't work that way for everyone, because what I've seen is that a lot of you do not have the energy to be in the kitchen for 4 or 5 hours on a Sunday. You don't have the energy. You're kind of exhausted depending on what your Saturday was. Ends up being a day that you're moving kind of slow. You don't really feel like doing too much. Somebody calls you to go do something. Next thing you know, you never meal prepped. Let me tell you something, Melissa. And I'm gonna say this as honestly as I can. I would imagine that you have Friday night activities that you get involved with every week. I would also imagine that most of those Friday nights involves eating out. If you start to meal prep every other Friday instead of going out, just every other Friday, that 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 hours that you spend outside, and you're having a good time, nobody's mad at that. You could cook food for 14 days. Now, a lot of us would say, oh, Mark, the food's going to go bad in 14 days. That's probably not the greatest advice. The point I'm trying to make is it would be great if you did every Friday. Let's say you don't. Let's say you do every other. You're going to start to figure out some things. And you're going to start to figure out some casseroles and dishes that last a little longer. And maybe you cook some stuff on that Friday and you freeze it, like make lasagna and you chop it up, let it cool down, and you put it in the freezer, right? Healthy lasagna, whatever you need to put in it to make it a little healthier. But you freeze it. Now, when you pull it out, the Friday arts, you aren't meal prepping. You're just defrosting it and you're going to put it in containers. It will get you in the habit of preparing your food ahead of time. Also, it will save you money because, again, on these Fridays, a lot of times you're spending a ton of money. See, this is what happens. If you make yourself go to the grocery store Friday after work, and you get home and you got all this food to prepare, that's where your mind's going to be. Your friends are getting ready to go out because you know how that goes. Where are we going? What am I going to wear? How am I going to do my hair? Am I going to pick somebody up? You know, all the things, all the preparation. If you know that's not what you're doing, your mind is in a different direction. You go to the grocery store, you have a plan. Now, I love ordering groceries, okay? I didn't always do this, but I found it to be a time saver. And yes, you have to spend a tiny bit more money. But not only does it save you the time and the effort, because a lot of times you guys are shying away from going to the grocery store because the thought of driving to the store, going all the way through the grocery store, there's people there, you don't really want to be around people. You got to choose what you want. You got to go through the checkout. You got to bag everything up. Then you got to carry it to wherever you live, right? A lot of times that can tire you out. When you order your groceries, you eliminate all of those points. Now, it seems a little lazy, and we don't promote lazy here, but we do promote convenience so that we can get more done. I mean, a lot of times, guys, if you, again, from the time you leave your house to the time you get back from the grocery store, we're talking an hour and a half, right? Well, that hour and a half, you could be doing a lot of cooking, okay? So let's make it convenient. And what happens is when you order your groceries, you're not tempted by what's in the aisles. And for you, Melissa, because you've gone up and down with your health transformation, just like many of us have, I guarantee that you have had many, many, many times where you went to the grocery store and you weren't thinking about nachos and salsa, right? You weren't thinking about ice cream. You weren't thinking about your favorite candy until you saw it. So you walked through that bakery and you smelled the fresh cornbread. Come on, man. I know how it go. When you order your groceries, the person who is bringing you your groceries is not, and I repeat, is not going to bring you anything you did not order most of the time, and it won't be snacks, okay? So ordering really helps. When you have the time chiseled out, what you can do is also invite a friend or two over. You get a bottle of wine, or it doesn't have to be wine. Whatever you guys like to partake in. You set up some music, and you make it a party, man. Hey, I'm meal prepping tonight. Anybody want to come through and hang out with me? Come and hang out. So that way you're not skipping out on the community aspect of going out to eat on a Friday, because that's very important. But you have something you're trying to do and you're trying to get to a goal. So invite some people over and just say, every other Friday, man, this is what I'm doing. Make it into a party, because maybe you might have a friend who wants to meal prep as well. They might bring food over and you guys cook it all at your house and they take their food with them, right? Make it something fun that you can do with someone else. I'm going backwards now, but going back to ordering your groceries, don't make it complicated. Right at first, you need to get a couple items, you need to get them in bulk. 2 proteins, lean ground turkey and chicken breast, boneless chicken breast. For your carbohydrates, sweet potatoes and rice. For your veggies, broccoli, asparagus. And you get enough of each item and you cook it. You cook it all. And then as you're cooking it, because you should have your containers, you should have 5 to 10 containers. There's no reason why we don't have 5 to 10 to-go containers that we can put food in before it's time to eat it, and just store it properly so that as soon as we pull it out, it's ready to go. That's when you do your measuring. That's when you take your 1 cup of lean ground turkey and you put it in each. Just like you've seen on Pinterest, just like you've seen on Instagram. You do the same for each food you have. You mix and match with your plates. Guys, you can have 20 to 50, you can have 15, 20 containers filled up, ready to go for the week. Melissa, if you have these 15 to 20 containers ready to go for the week, and you don't have to measure them out because you know that you use a cup of rice or you use 5 ounces of sweet potatoes every single time. Now when you go to track your food, because you should be tracking, it's easy. Now you're not overeating. Now you're not guessing how many carbs you had, how much added sugar did you have. Because you're making a point to put meal prep in your schedule. You may have to freeze some things to pull it out for the next week. So you have to make adjustments as you go, but you have to get started. Obviously, waiting until Sunday does not help you. Because by the time Sunday at 4 o'clock rolls around, guys, I'm telling you, I am a witness. There is a drop in energy for most of us. I haven't heard too many people say they got a ton of work done on a Sunday night, Sunday evening. For whatever reason, that's just how it is. I think it has a lot to do with, days of the week, and we've been living by this schedule all of our lives. So we're just used to that 7-day cycle like that. And Sunday's at the end of the cycle, right? So we're not going to have a ton of energy on that day. So what you just want to make sure you absolutely do is not wait until that time. Like if we see something's not working, we can't keep doing it. We're expecting a different result. That's insanity. Pick an earlier day, pick an earlier time. Again, Friday night, you're pretty relaxed from work. Doesn't matter how late you stay up. You can have some friends come over. You guys can have a little bit of wine. You can make it into a gathering. Now, I've heard people say they do Saturday mornings and Saturday afternoons. That's great too. But for someone that's single and doesn't have kids, that's normally a day that you probably want to sleep in a bit. And when you get up, people are calling you or you have stuff to do. I wouldn't make it Saturday. I would make it Friday. Friday's pretty easy, and now it's set. And there might be some meals when you make them on Friday that you want to consume over the weekend too. We didn't even get into that, but I'm sure that you're eating out a lot on the weekends, right? And what we'll do is when we meal prep on Sunday, by the time we get to Friday, we no longer want to eat. We want some variety by the weekend. But if you just made the food fresh on Friday night, now eating it Saturday or Sunday doesn't have the same, it just seems to knock that boredom off of it, for lack of better terms. So you want to make sure you order your food, Melissa. Don't go to the grocery store and have to make a bunch of choices. You want to schedule this meal prep period, right? And again, once every other week right now. And at some point you'll move to every week. But once every other week, and you just block out 5 to 9. And you order the groceries early in the day so that they come at 5 o'clock when you get home, or 6 o'clock. Invite some people over. Make some healthy choices when you're ordering, and don't make it too complicated. Each meal does not have to be different for you to meal prep. No one who meal preps has different meals every other meal. We don't. It's boring. It's boring. And Melissa, let me help you with something as well. As you embark on this journey, right? Because if you do this correctly for a long enough period of time, you are going to see amazing results. As you embark on this journey, one thing I had to learn was that the time that I'm eating is going to be boring. So for the 20 to 30 minutes I'm eating is boring. Sometimes only 15 minutes. It's boring. But the rest of my transformation is exciting. Whereas when I used to eat out all the time, it was the other way around. When I ate, it was exciting. It was tasty, invigorating. But the rest of my life was boring. Because nutrition drives this entire transformation, Melissa. I promise you. There are some people who really don't work out much, but their nutrition is super dialed in, so they don't have to. Your nutrition is going to drive the rest of your life. So it's either going to be in a good way or a bad way. But it will absolutely drive the rest of your life. It's going to encourage you to go to yoga class or not go to the yoga class. It's going to encourage you to get to bed on time or not go to bed on time. It's going to balance your hormones or have your hormones out of balance. I would say the foods that we consume and the nutrients involved, along with the habits that come with whichever way we choose, is about 85% of this process. Just got to be honest with you, Melissa. And the beauty of that is it's actually easy because we're going to eat today regardless. Like, you're going to eat 3 times a day and so am I. It's just what I choose to eat and what you choose to eat that's different. And if I schedule a meal prep and you'll schedule to go out to eat, that's only, we're both spending the same amount of time on Friday night surrounding dinner or the meals for the next couple of days. I promise you that. I'm not going to the grocery store more than what you are. I'm not spending as much as you are, but I'm still spending money. Yes, the grocery bill will be a little heavier. Absolutely. But after a while, that $500 that you're spending just going out to eat, you can cut that in half with groceries and you'll be straight. Easily. Just being honest with you. But it's going to change your life. It's going to change your journey. The food you consume is always going to drive your process one way or the other. So you have to make the decision now to schedule this meal prep time. And I don't care what you have to put to the side to do it. Any of you are listening right now, you absolutely have to make this a priority. This is priority number 1. I am telling you, all the workouts, the HIIT classes, the running, the sled work, guys, I'm not trying to say it's not effective at all. I'm saying that when you tie the nutrition in, it becomes a smaller part and it becomes more effective. Those workouts become way more effective. The cycling becomes way more effective when your nutrition is on point. And to wrap this up, Melissa, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make some effort. You've watched enough videos to know there's probably 20 foods that you've seen on different influencers' plates that you thought, oh, that looked pretty good. Oh man, I would have never thought of that. Oh, I should try that. Write those foods down. And this Friday, just order 6 of them. Just order 6 in bulk and just make them. That's it. That's all we do. I'm telling you, there's no special sauce to it. But these people who are in way better shape than you, I'm just telling you, they're scheduling the meal prep. They're ordering the groceries. They're making it a non-negotiable. They're staying consistent with it every single week. And they're measuring their food in each container. That's it. You have the measuring cups already, guaranteed. You may need to buy a food scale. But I'm telling you, those 2 adjustments, meal prep and measuring your food will change your life. Meal prepping and weighing your food, measuring your food will change your life in front of your own eyes. It'll be the most amazing thing that ever happened. So I'm glad you wrote in, Melissa. If you are somebody who has an issue or a situation like Melissa's and you need some help, you need some coaching, you need some advice, please email me at coachmark22@gmail.com. That is Coach Mark with a C, 22@gmail.com. And if you are someone like Melissa and you need some advice, but you already know that you need some coaching. You need somebody to help you with your workout planning, help you with some habit stacking or lack thereof, help you with how to navigate through this new nutrition cycle that you might be on, okay? If that is the case, click the link in my bio and schedule a free consultation. We'll get together. We'll talk about it a little bit, see if we're a good fit, all right? Traditional health and wellness coaching, right? But just with a little bit of simplified tactics that you can use, right? I think a lot of us are scared to approach a coach because we think that it's going to be so super structured that we're not going to be able to keep up, and that's not the case. I'm a father. I'm older. I'm busy, so I understand that we're all busy. We have kids. We have lives. We have partners. So it has to be as simple as possible for you to be able to sustain it and be consistent. So that's what I'm here for. All right, click the link in the bio. Schedule a free consultation with me, guys. This is Lunchtime Logic, man. Transformation Station. I am your guy, Coach Mark. This has been a pleasure once again. I will see you tomorrow.